starting.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. So, 不思議な Treehouse. One second. I just gonna take something off from over here. Where is that thing? And 不思議な Treehouse. Mysterious Treehouse. So our first line here will go to Anthony.
お兄ちゃん、何の本を読んでたの？Big brother, what kind of 本 are you reading?
Perfect. What kind of book are you reading? Nice. And Zapic, next line will be for you.
妹の兄がスキップしながらジャックに聞いた。The sister was asking while skipping.
Yes, she was in that. The sister Annie. Perfect.
Yeah.
オレンジ色の太陽が西の空に傾いている。The orange sun is setting in the western sky. ここはアメリカのペンシルベニア州。This place right here is America's state of Pennsylvania. And the next line right over here, I'll do again because it's so much katakana. ジャックとアニーはフラグクリックという町の小学生だ。Jack and Annie are elementary school students of the city known as Frog Creek. The next line right here is going to go to Anthony.
二人は図書館の帰り道だった。二人は図書館の帰り道だった。The two of them use the road, the library's road to go back.
Go back where?
Home.
Yes, they go back home. Yes, they're on the road home from the library. Perfect. And this next little paragraph here will go to you, Zapic.
Yeah. 恐竜の本だよ。メガネを押さえながら、ジャッキーが言った。So he's answering a book about dinosaurs
Yeah.
while pushing up his glasses.
Perfect. Nice. And it sounded like you said jacket rather than jaku,
Ah, Jack, yeah.
which are very similar katakana characters. Iguanodon, Pterosaurus, Kyoryu no Oja, Tyrannosaurus. So he's listing some dinosaurs, Iguanodon, Stegosaurus, and the king of dinosaurs, the T-Rex. And the next line here will go to Anthony.
それから時代には空を飛ぶ翼竜っていうのもいたんだ。それから、from that time period 空を飛ぶ翼竜っていう、there are winged dragons or winged dinosaurs that fly in the skies.
Yeah, that's basically saying. So right here we have pronoun no, which is basically being the word dinosaur. So there were in that era dinosaurs called yokoryu, which means winged dragon, basically winged lizard, anything like that, winged dinosaur, and they could fly in the sky. And this paragraph here is gonna go to Zapic.
ジャックはもうすぐ9歳。本の読んだり、視線の観察したりするのが大好きな男の子だ。So Jack was soon turning 9 years old. And it's also explaining how he likes to read books and
シーズンの観察 is to observe nature.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And is he a boy or a girl?
is a boy.
Exactly.
男の子。
So, Jack is a boy who loves doing things like observing nature and reading books. Perfect. Do. 突然、Annie が叫んだ. Suddenly, Annie yelled. And Anthony, next line will be for you.
お兄ちゃん、後ろに怪獣がいる。Big brother, at your back, on your back, there's a kaiju, like a big
Yeah,
monster.
it could be there's a big monster on your back. Ushiro can be used like that. In this context, it just would probably be behind you, just because. But it doesn't have to be. It could literally be a monster here. Ushiro as a word isn't specific like that. And this next paragraph here, we'll go to you, Zapic.
いえ、姉は7歳。恐竜の名前を覚えろより、空想の世界で遊ぶ方が楽しい。So Annie is 7 years old. She has just learned the dinosaurs' names.
Good guess.
that it?
So right here we have this word yori,
Yeah.
which means less, and then we have ho, which means more, and then we're ending with a adjective called tanoshi. Do you know what tanoshi is?
Fun. So she
Fun.
enjoys.
So this,
Yeah.
yes. So it's talking about enjoying different things. So what does she enjoy?
Playing. Asabu's playing and
Yes.
Kuso. What's that?
Kuso means fantasy.
Oh, fantasy. Yeah, she likes fantasizing. So
Exactly. Do you know what the
being in
particle
the
dan
fantasy world.
marks? Yeah. Do you know what this
Yeah.
particle is used to mark in general?
Isn't it usually like places?
Yeah, it can be used to mark places, or it can be marked tools. So here, you could argue it's either, right? The tool she uses to play her games is the fantasy world, or it's literally the place in which she plays. Both are good interpretations of that. And what does she not like to do as much? She prefers fantasy worlds. What's less
Oh
fun?
yeah, she doesn't like remembering the names as much.
Exactly. That's boring.
Or
Memorize
learning.
the dinosaur names. Perfect. So this next paragraph here is going to go to Anthony.
どこに怪獣がいるんだよ。ジャックはうんざりしていた。I'm gonna guess unzari is like getting angry or something. Like
Close.
he's
Yeah,
saying,
it's basically being fed up with somebody.
okay. Where's the kaiju that? Oh, where's the kaiju?
Mhm.
Jack uh was fed up saying that.
Yep, saying that all fed up. Perfect. And the way how this ends with his Ndayo shows that he's not asking this in a questioning intern. He's not like, where is the kaiju? He's like, where's the kaiju? Like it's very much not a question with the Ndayo, even though we have a question word in it. Because so he sounds very sarcastic here. The next paragraph here will go to you, Zapic.
Yeah. ほら、追いかけてくる。森へ隠れなきゃ。競争よ。
Kyoso means race.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, it's following. It's coming from the forest.
Yes. But do you know what kakureru means?
Oh, it's hiding.
It could be saying it's hiding in the forest. We do have this nakya here, which you probably haven't learned yet. Nakya is
No.
a slurring of nakereba naranai, which means if this does not happen, it will not become, which is used in Japanese to mean must, as in we must do this thing, or the thing that I want to happen will not happen. So in this
Oh,
context, it is we must kakureru in the forest, or the monster is going to come over and eat them. Is
Yeah.
say. So it's actually hide in the forest, as the monster's actually on the other side of them. Behind Jack, forest is over there. Shoo.
Yeah.
So what does she say after that? Hey, we gotta go hide in the forest.
Yeah, let's race.
Let's race. Exactly. So that's just her playing in her fantasy world and then going back to reality for 1 second. Our next sentence here will go to Anthony.
そう言うと、兄は一人で森の方へ走って行ってしまった。So, having said that, 兄は一人。Annie alone went to run to the forest.
Perfect. And is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Shimata is like Shimao to do completely. I guess bad thing.
It is a bad thing, yes. Shimao
Yeah.
either is meaning to do completely or doing a bad thing. It doesn't make any sense to say they completely ran into the forest. So it must be adding the this is a bad thing meaning to the sentence. So something you can do completely would be like putting away your phone in your backpack would be okay. That's not a bad thing. 夕日が森の向こうに沈み始めている. The evening sun has begun to sink across the other side of the forest. And the next paragraph will go to you, Zapic.
Yeah. もうすぐ日が暮れちゃうよ。ジャックは心配になってきた。So soon the sun will be going down.
Yes, exactly. And this is a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's a bad thing. He's
Yes,
worried.
perfect. Yes. And he's 心配になってきた. What does that mean?
That is worried.
Exactly, perfect. Sorry, I feel like you said it, but then like
Yeah.
sure. Sometimes when I talk, it's like, what happened? Next paragraph is gonna go to Anthony.
兄もう帰ろう。しばらく待っても兄は戻ってこない。兄、let's return. しばらく待っても。しばらく待っても兄は戻ってこない。Even while waiting, Annie didn't come and return.
Exactly, perfect. And we got the two returns, the return to a location and to return home. Annie! すると、兄の声が返ってきた. Annie! And then, right after he called out her name, Annie's voice came in response saying, お兄ちゃん、ちょっと来て! Big brother, come here a second. And the next sentence here will go to Zapic.
ジャックはやれやれと思いながら森の中へ入っていた。So Jack was saying, I don't know how to translate yada yada, but it's like, oh well.
Yes, perfect.
Well, thinking that he goes to the forest
He enters the forest.
or enters, yeah.
Perfect. 木の葉が夕日を浴びて金色に輝いている. The leaves of the trees have soaked up the even sun and are glittering in a golden light. こっちお兄ちゃん早く. It's this way, big brother. Hurry up. Next sentence will go to Anthony.
兄は大きなカツの木の下に立っていた。What's katsu?
It's kashi, which is evergreen.
Akashi. Evergreen. So Annie under the stood under the big kashi tree.
Yes, perfect. So yeah, this says the tip. She, if you put a line, you can go straight that way. Tu is a horizontal line versus vertical. So if I tried to put a
Okay.
vertical line through here, you only go through one. Doesn't work as well. Next sentence paragraph is going to go to Zapic.
これ見て。姉が指さしているのは、一本の縄ばしこだった。Yeah. So Annie is saying, hold on. Oh, here. Look here. While, what's UB again?
Hi,
UB?
Yubi is finger.
Oh, yeah.
And sashiteiru, yubisasu, is to point at something.
Yeah. So she's pointing at the rope ladder.
And how many rope ladders are there?
Just one. The
Exactly.
one rope ladder.
Perfect. And you translated kore as koko, which is here. Kore is actually this. It says, look at this, big brother. And Annie, the thing she's pointing at, because she said the word this, the thing she's pointing at, is a single rope ladder. うわ、なんて長い縄ばしごなんだ. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is what a long rope ladder. And Zapic, next sentence will be for you.
それはジャッキの頭の悪か上、枝が二つに分かれているとこまで続いている。
So what does the sore mean in this context?
That. So that is.
And that it's referring to is the rope ladder.
Yeah.
So the rope ladder, it is doing our final verb, which is tsuzuiteiku. Tsuzuiteiru. Sorry. What does that mean?
Is it like coming down?
Covering town? Tsuzuku?
No. 続いている。
You know what
I'm not
tsuzuku
sure.
means? Tsuzuku
To
means to be
continue?
continue. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the rope ladder is continuing made. What does made mean? Do you know?
It's like two.
Yes, to or until. Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry,
And-
I didn't.
Awesome. You're available now, BB? Great.
Yes,
We'll be
I
doing
am.
you
Hello.
next. Nice.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's continuing to the tokoro, which means place. And then we're describing this tokoro as eda ga futatsu ni wareteiru. What does that mean? Eda o futatsu ni wareteiru.
Where are we now?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Eda ga futatsu ni wareteiru.
What is Edda?
Eda is a branch.
Okay. So it's two branches.
Wakareru is to separate, so it's meaning it's split into two branches. So what we've done so far is that is continuing up to the place where the branches are split into two. Jaku no atama no haruka ue. Haruka means like a lot in this context.
Yeah.
So where would you say the tree's branches are splitting into two? Is it down here, in the middle, near the top?
Oh,
What do you think would make sense?
Yeah. High up.
Yeah. High up.
Over
The
the head.
haruka is letting us know it's high up. Because theoretically, if Jack was like really tiny like this is above his head, so that's theoretically possible. But haruka is letting us know it's super high up his head. You get a really long distance from that. So awesome. It's a hard sentence. That's why I had you do it since you had like a vague idea what it probably meant. So that was perfect
Yeah.
for you. This might be hard, but BB, do you want to try this long sentence too?
Sure, sure. I had a question. Is haruka
Yeah.
like far or is it
It
like
is
far?
far. It is far,
Okay, so
but
like
it's not
far
like
up.
a noun. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
like it's far an adjective. It's like oh.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. 目を凝らしてよく見ると、そこには小さくて四角い四角い木の小屋かの飼ってた。
Perfect. Shikakui means so shikaku, do you know what shape that is? A shikaku?
No. Circle?
Shikaku
I
is
don't
a
know.
square. Close.
Oh,
Shikaku is
square.
a
Okay.
square.
shikaku.
An E is just turning it into an E adjective. So it's saying square-ish, probably is how we'd do that in English.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Do you know what meo korasu means? That'd be where you'd start in this.
目を凝らしてよく。Like, I actually don't know now.
Hi. Korasu is to kind of squint your
Yes.
eyes. So they're
Oh, okay.
squinting your eyes and doing the verb miru. What does miru mean?
To look.
Exactly. And we're describing that looking with the adverb yoku. Do you know what that means?
Like real good or hard or I don't know.
Yes. They're taking a really good look, squinting their eyes. And then we have this toe right here. This toe means basically immediately afterwards, and it's very commonly used when you use the verb miru to literally just state what it is that they saw. So I squinted my eyes and took a real good look, and the thing I saw was a kinokoya. Any idea what this might mean? Kinokoya.
Something of a tree? Koya?
Ya
Yes,
is a shop,
tree is tree.
isn't it?
What?
Koya.
Isn't ya a shop?
Ya can be used to refer to a shop, you're correct. But ya also shows up in the word heya as well.
A room.
Room, exactly. And it's
Oh,
closer to the
treehouse.
meaning of room here. It is a treehouse. Specifically, it is
Oh.
a small hut made of tree. Kinokoya. And we have a second small here with chisakute. So it's a super small hut made of tree. So the koya makes you feel like it's probably like one room rather than like a mansion treehouse or something. And what shape is this treehouse?
Square.
Perfect. It is square. And then we have the verb no katteita, which is literally saying it is sitting there. So contextually, we'd have to go back to the previous sentence since we were talking about a rope ladder, which was that rope ladder went all the way up to where the branches split. And it says soko ni wa, right? So they're at that spot. So we're basically assuming we're talking about the spot where the branches split. That is where the thing was sitting, the hut was. And then Grayson, next little sentence paragraph will go to you.
Tsuri hausu da
Perfect.
ja shikuno shinzo ga doki doki to takanata.
Perfect. Treehouse da.
Treehouse da. Okay.
Do you know what da means?
No, I do not.
Da is des. Do you know des?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
It's-
right. It's like an informal version of des.
It is that. So it means is. And we've dropped the subject, so it is our filler subject in English. So it is a what?
Treehouse.
Exactly. And then we have something happening with a shinzo. Shinzo means heart. You might have heard
Yeah.
kokoro before. The difference is that
Yeah.
shinzo is your physical heart and kokoro is your metaphorical heart. So you use kokoro when you're talking about feelings, and you use shinzo when you're talking about physically what your heart's doing. So whose heart
okay.
is doing something here?
Wait, okay. Jack.
Jack's heart. And
Yeah.
it is doing doki doki. Doki doki to
It's like,
tonata.
yeah, it's like thumping.
Yes, and it's thumping loudly, is what it's saying.
Is this
So
wait, the shinzo? That together is the heart?
yes, shinzo is the word that means
Okay.
heart, a physical heart.
Because I recognize the first kanji, but not the second one.
Yes, the first kanji is the kanji for heart, and zo is basically meaning like the organ. I believe that's what that kanji is. Organ kanji. And
Taka. The
sorry,
taka is the kanji for stand. Or like
no,
tall.
that's tatsu,
That's-
tall. Yes, takai
tall.
can mean tall. It can also mean
Tall.
expensive,
Yeah.
and it can also mean loud.
Oh, loud. Okay.
So they're all three of these meanings. So like a takai goe, which is a voice that is takai, would not be a tall voice, right? Or an expensive voice. It would be a shrill voice, being that high, loud tone. So it's just saying his heart, it's very loud and it's going doki doki, making the sound of a heart thumping. So his blood's rushing in his ears. And then Anthony, next sentence will be for you.
あれは絶対世界で一番高いツリーハウスよ。と、兄。That's absolutely the tallest, the world's tallest tree house, said Annie.
Perfect. Nice. And our next line here will go to Zapic.
こんなところにツリーハウスがあったんだって知らなかったな。
Hi. So nante is just a stress word that's added to words to mean like, my goodness, wow, what? In English, we just would be adding stress to like whatever it's attached to, like saying it aggressively. But Japanese has like a word that basically means adding emphasis to previous word to show shock. So translate it however you want. It's just a vibey word.
Yeah. Who it's like basically at this place we would have thought that or I didn't know that there would be a treehouse like this.
Yes, and who would have thought is a perfect way to translate the nante in the sentence. to show the shock. Literally saying, I had no idea there was a treehouse in such a place as this. Wow. But who would have thought would be a good way of showing that thing? Toll. Let's see. We have a question from BB in the previous sentence. So why does it not say to ani ga ita? They don't say that mostly because this book is a little bit more childish. So it's fairly common to not like, they just want to quote their things like that. Normally, if this was in like a novel, you wouldn't even have that be quoted. Most of the time, we don't even have the toitas. They just would have the people talking with quotation marks. There's like a thing in Japanese where it doesn't have to be written. So because this book's for a little bit of a younger audience, they're marking each time somebody talks normally to make it like extra obvious who's talking, but not really going to the extra level of writing ita. So in general, it'd be more correct to say toita. So that it's more kind of like a quirk of this specific book versus like most novels wouldn't really would go to the extra step normally, I'd say, or like how in the next sentence there's nothing there. That's like a little bit more common.
Okay, interesting.
But
Thank you.
basically, they're just being lazy. And
Gotcha.
they're making it so they don't have toita like too many times. Makes it
that
kinda,
makes sense.
yeah, makes it just blend in more.
Gotcha.
Next line here goes to Bibi.
Okay. ジャックは、小屋をじっと見上げたまま、つぶやいた。
Hi, tsubayaita is tsubayaku, which means to mutter.
Sorry, I'm writing notes at the same time. つぶやく is to mutter. Okay, cool. And what was it? ジャック Koya. What's the koya?
Koya. Do you remember what heya meant?
Is that like peas?
Heya means room. So
Oh,
koya
heya.
is a small room referring to like a hut.
Oh, kind of like the kino koya. Okay,
This is
treehouse.
the ki no koya. The ki part meant tree, and we're not specifying each
Yeah.
time we see it that it's a tree house.
Gotcha. Koya.
So,
Gotcha.
ジャックはつぶやいた. What did Jack do?
He muttered.
Perfect. And do you know what mama means?
Like, how do I explain? Like the way, like just like that? I don't know.
It's not really
Koya.
just like that. It's used to refer to a state that is continuing. So it's a little bit similar to while as like a basic idea. So for our
Got
purposes, we'll use while in this context. But it just
Oh, I was
means
thinking
this
of like
state.
sono mama.
Sono
Gotcha.
mama. So the sono mama means like in the way you're currently doing it is continuing, is what that means. The sono
Okay.
meaning the previous action, and the mama saying continue that action. So mama just means continue previous action. Here, rather than being described with mama, it's being described with mi ageta, which is a very common thing in Japanese, which is a compound word, where we're adding the word miru. Do you know what that means?
The look, yeah.
To look, plus ageru. Do you know what ageru means?
Like give?
That's a good guess. You're right that ageru does mean give. You're not going to see the kanji ue with ageru. Do you know what ue means?
Above.
Above. So this means to look up. If you're seeing the ageru kanji, it's going to mean up
Miyage.
normally.
Oh, gotcha.
It's also used when rain lets up. So
Really? Okay.
funnily enough, that is a random thing that's same in Japanese as English. But yeah, if
That's
you're giving a
cool.
present, normally you don't have the kanji for that with ageru, or it might give you a different kanji. If I had my dictionary with me. So
Ageru
he's
like to
looking-
raise?
Yes, ageru literally means to raise. So
Okay.
he's raising his line of sight, miruing.
Mm.
It's up as a verb, which is to raise something. So he's looking up at the treehouse, and he's doing it in a jitto kind of way, which is a sound effect of just staring and like not
like
blinking.
Mm-mm.
Exactly. And because I can't really zoom in on this screen, I normally do something else. But what I'm going to do for this one, since we have quite a few people here, is to stop sharing and then reshare. Advance and portion of the screen, because I can cheat, I believe, by doing that. Can you guys now
That
see
works.
the text easily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I thought about this the other day. So the next two lines here are going to go to Grayson.
Yes. 誰のツリーハウスなんだろう登ってみない
Perfect. 誰のツリーハウスなんだろう? There's probably a
That
couple
is
things you don't
who.
know.
So
Yes.
whose three house?
Treehouse.
Treehouse. Yeah, right. Whose treehouse?
Perfect. And then we have daro. You know what daro means?
I'm not sure.
Daro means I wonder. So I wonder whose
okay.
treehouse it is what
There's an
that's
extra
saying.
none in there because there's
So
this
this-
that I know, but then yeah.
This right here is no. Which is a pronoun no. And this gets more complicated as you're learning Japanese. But basically what's going on here is that he's restating this whole thing as if it's a noun and describing the noun with a na is acting as kind of like, because you can't say no. That's not really possible because then it sounds weird. So instead, no, nouns turn into not adjectives if you're describing the pronoun no. So he just is basically restating this as a sentence, and that is used in Japanese to kind of make things feel more human. It's kind of how I described it. If you just said "Dare no treehouse daro," that sounds almost like he's asking somebody, like he's feeling a little bit more interrogative, like versus like musing to himself here. He feels like he's like making a statement. I wonder whose house this is. Period. Versus like do you wonder, or maybe like do you think, because daro is like literally just a vagueness modifier of not being sure of something, so it's sometimes used as like a asking somebody else if they agree with you, like what do you think about this kind of thing, like right in English. So it gets really complicated when you're like having to translate this, because in general we don't really say anything in English for the how it's used. There's just certain contexts in which it's used. But so it's easier just to ignore it, I say, at our current level, and just know it's like for vibes. It's a vibe word.
Okay.
We're just restating the sentence as more statement-like because he's musing to himself in this context. And it's used a lot in different contexts because sometimes it's not for remusing, sometimes it's for this is an explanation for something, things like that. So yeah, so I wonder whose tree house this is. And someone else says, "Ne, nobotte minai." Minai. Do you know what negative form with a rising intonation means?
It's
Might
like
learn as
when you're
masenka.
making a
Yes,
suggestion, or like
it's for making
yeah.
a suggestion. Perfect. So this right here is Annie saying, "Why don't we try nobotteing?" Any idea what
How do you
nobotte
know that
means?
it's raising intonation though from
There's
the
a
written
question
form?
mark right here.
Oh,
That's how we know.
I didn't realize they use question marks. I thought they just use ka as a question mark.
Yeah, ka is only there with polite form. So masenka. But if you're doing that, like for
Oh.
example, tabemasenka, would you like to eat? It'd be taberu? Tabenai? You would have to do rising intonation. You wouldn't say tabenai ka. So, for whatever, so ka is like more polite. It's making it like I am obviously asking you a question, and I wanted you to feel comfortable and know that I am asking you a question. It could be a way you think about it. We don't know each other good enough that you'd be able to know for sure if I'm raising my tone. I don't like.
Oh wait,
This is like a
isn't
funny.
noble is that to climb?
It is to climb. So hey, why don't we try climbing it? So she's saying, why don't we try climbing the rope ladder to get into the treehouse? So now we have Jack talking. The sentence right here is going to go to Zapic.
ダメだよ。誰のものだかわからないんだから。So he's saying, no, absolute ダメだ. And because they don't know whose house it is.
Exactly, that's exactly what it says. Because they don't know whose house it is. They don't know whose thing it belongs to. So here we have that same thing. This is the same from the previous sentence. So he's だから. So you could have said わからないから if we wanted to, right? わからないから because I don't know. But he wanted this to sound more like a statement. So he wanted to add the noda to it, which is just that pronoun no with is at the end, and then the no has been slurred into in. So it's because we don't know about it. You know? Makes it more of that. ちょっと見るだけ. I just want to go take a little look. And then Anthony, next line will be for you.
兄は縄ばしごを掴んで、登り登り始めた. So Annie started like climbing using the rope ladder.
Hi, you're right. But I do think you're thinking tsukande is a skau, which is to use. Tsukame is from tsukamu, which is what happens when you close your fist around something. So she grabbed the rope ladder and then started the climb. Which, using a rope ladder doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, she's using it. Who cares that she grabbed it versus that? But just pointing that out since was theoretically wrong. 危ないよ、降りておいで. It's dangerous. Come down right this second. And the next sentence here is going to go to Bibi.
Starting from 兄
Yep.
Okay. 兄は言うことも聞かず、どんどん登っていく。Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. じゃあ、
So kikazu is the verb kiku.
うん。
You know what kiku is?
Yeah, to ask.
To ask. But in this context, it's not to ask, it's the second meaning of kiku. Do you know what that is?
言うことも聞かず。
The second meaning of kiku is to listen.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
So here, she's zooing it. Do you happen to know what the grammar zoo means?
言うことも聞かず。I'm not exactly sure.
Zoo is basically nai. But it's used with like in the middle of a sentence. So kikazu is same as kikanai, which is to not listen. So without listening to what? Yu koto mo.
Like what her brother's saying, basically.
Exactly. Without listening to a single thing her brother says, she nobotte iku.
She continued to climb up.
Perfect. And don don is a sound effect that feels
like more and more.
Exactly. More and more is a great way of thinking about it. Nice. And then the next line here will go to Anthony.
やがてツリーハウスにたどり着き、するりと中には行ってしまった。
It's actually
入って、中に入ってしまった。Okay. やがて is like finally, tree house にたどり着き。I finally arrived at the tree house. するりと I don't know what it is.
Sururi is the sound of you doing like a whoop, so in this context, he basically like slips in.
Slips in. Okay. Slipping in. 中には入ってしまう。she was able to like she entered the treehouse inside.
Exactly. She went inside. And Grayson, do you happen to know what the shimata is telling us here?
I'm not sure.
So shimata, Zapic, why don't you tell us what it means?
Well, if it's a kind of a negative way of
It means
saying it
somebody's
happened.
sad this happened. This is not a good thing. Because remember, Jack, right? He doesn't want her to go up this random treehouse. We don't know whose treehouse it even belongs to. So it's a bad thing that Annie, right, went up the tree and slipped inside the treehouse. She should not have done that. Darn. Annie ってば、いくら呼んでも Annie は降りてこない. No matter how many times he said Annie, she did not come back down. And then, 1 second, and I'm gonna do BB.
Yes, gotcha. もう一度呼ぼうとしたとき、兄が、ツリーハウスの窓から顔を出した。
Hi. Do you know what yobu means?
もう一度呼ぶ。No.
yobu is to call, like to call someone's name. And
Oh,
otosuru is a grammar point you would not have learned yet because this is a, I don't know, N3 or something. And it means to attempt to do something with a connotation that most likely you will fail. So it's when you were doing it, but he should not have actually finished this action normally. So, do you know what toki means?
like time, like that time.
Exactly. So, what time are we talking about? もう一度呼ぼうとしたとき。
Like when she tried to call?
Exactly, when she tried to call out again. In this context, we could assume the one calling is Jack, since Jack has been calling Annie's name in the previous paragraph. Even though the subject
gotcha.
of the sentence is Annie. So the subject of this relative clause is probably Jack. So when Jack was about to call out once again for Annie, what did Annie do? Annie がツリーハウスの窓から顔を出した。
She stuck her head out of the window of the treehouse.
Exactly, perfect. And Grayson, next line here will be for you.
本がいっぱいよ。
Perfect. 本がいっぱいよ。
On his book,
Yes.
いっぱい? I'm not sure.
いっぱい means a lot
A lot.
or full.
Mm.
So there's a lot of books, you know. 本がいっぱいよ。なんだって? What did you say? And the next line will be for you again, Grayson.
面白そうな本がいっぱいあるの?
Perfect. So we got 本がある. What does that mean?
To exist.
What's existing?
The books?
Yes, books exist. And there's an いっぱい amount existing. What does いっ
A
ぱい mean?
lot of books. A lot of books are here.
Exactly. And these books are 面白い. What does 面白い mean?
Interesting.
Exactly. There's a lot of interesting books. The soul that's going on here.
Wait, is it emoshiroi or just emoshiro?
So adjectives.
Yeah.
In Japanese, it's a
I know
particle based.
the eyes disappear sometimes.
Yeah. So Japanese is a particle based language. So
Yeah.
everything has like a particle. When you're learning omoshiroi, that e there is not actually a part of the word. This is an adjectival marker that's saying this is an e adjective, even though it's in the dictionary format. So ippai as well. Ippai I think is actually an adverb, but there's none on here. But anyway, the e there is just added on to the word emoshiro to mean adjective. So here is another adjective, but it's a na adjective. So we're adding na at the end of so to let it do its adjective job to describe book. The soul right here means looks like, and it's being combined with omoshiro to mean it looks interesting. Making a hypothesis.
Okay.
Zapic, next line will be for you.
本があるなら見てみたい。Using books. If there's book there, I want to see.
Perfect. And do you know what makes Nada special?
No.
Anthony, do you remember?
It's a condition. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
can be if,
conditional.
when.
Yeah, I think about it as person specific. So for me, if there's a book there, then I would want to go see it. But if someone else has heard there's a lot of books, they probably wouldn't really care. So Anthony, this paragraph sentence is going to go to you.
Okay. Jack は鼻先までずり落ちたメガネを押し上げ、背中のリュックを確かめると、縄ばしごを握って、登り始めた。So, Jack 鼻先までずり落ちた目。the eyeglass that like that slips down. He pushed it up again.
Exactly. Where did it slip
Um,
down to?
in front of the nose.
Yes, to the tip of the
The
nose.
yeah, the tip of the nose. Okay. Then 背中のリュックをリュックを確かめる。He's like ascertaining the inside of the rucksack.
So that's senaka means back. So senaka no
Okay.
ryuku is the backpack on your back. So he's double checking that backpack that is on his back. And what else is he doing?
回し号を握って、he's grasping the rope ladder. Nobody. Then he like started climbing.
Perfect. And then he started climbing. Nice. And Anthony, do you know what makes toe special?
Toe is conditional.
Yeah, both toe and nada are our if/whens. So in English, if and when are split into these two categories of ifness, hypothetical, and when as in certainty, right? Japanese doesn't split out their if and whens between those categories. Instead, they split them up into 5 different brand new categories, all of which could be if or when, depending on how you're translating it. So nada is our person-specific if. If there are books here versus if there were flowers here or anything else, then I'd want to go see it. It makes it very like specific for what we are talking about. To has 2 things it does. The first thing it does is that it's only ever used if something is going to happen 100% of the time. Anything that has happened in the past has always happened and would always happen the way it did because it happened the way it did in the past. There's no way to change the past. So to can always be used in the past tense. But if you're talking about future tense, you can only use it if you're talking about for sure. Hi, Zapic. So like, for example, if you 5 plus 5 equals 10, that would be an example of to. If you're adding 5 to 5, it's always going to make 10. So it also could be used in the past tense to mean right afterwards, which is what it's doing here. So right after I double check my backpack, that's when he grabs the thing. So to is the 100% special and nada is the person specific special. I mean, if when statement. And we're going to end pretty soon, but Zapic, why don't you read the chapter title of what we'll be reading next time?
OK。恐竜の主観。OK. Yeah, so it's a picture book about dinosaurs.
Exactly. And Zukan specifically, when you're using it for picture book, they're talking about an encyclopedia picture book, not like the dog went to the house and then blah 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 blah. It should be like this is a dog, this is a cat, like it's that kind of picture book. So if you Google Zukan, what's going to pop up is all those little picture encyclopedia things. Where they're like, look at all the different animals, rather than a ehon, which is the other word for picture book. Japanese ehon, which would be where you're getting like the where the wild things are and good night mood and stuff. So that is where we'll be stop